Trying to find the right story. I'm sorry if y'all hear something in the background. It's because I have my air on because it is very hot outside. Very hot. So I needed to have my air on so I could be cool. I'm gonna be live on here for a little while, and then I'm gonna bounce over to TikTok because I'm gonna promote my business over there, and then later on I'm gonna be doing a Bible study. So I hope y'all tune into that because that should be fun. I made a post. I made a post on my TikTok last night. And over there I post a lot of things like I post over here. I post like faith content or whatever. And I get a lot of traction and a lot of views on that. So something said, make a post about doing live Bible studies and, stuff like that. So after I posted a couple of my prayers and stuff on TikTok, I said, okay, how do y'all feel about having live Bible studies? Like, it was just so random. It was just so random. I was like, how do y'all feel about having live Bible studies? And when I tell y'all, a lot of people liked it. A lot of people were saying yes, 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 yes. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I see how many people that would tune in to my Bible study lives. Or if I decided to do it on Zoom, I know a lot of people will come on Zoom and be in the Bible study classes as well. So it's actually nice to know that I have people on my social media that will want to be in my Bible study classes. So that is lit. It's gonna be lit, y'all. It's gonna be lit. It's literally gonna be lit. I feel like having a Bible study class is actually helping a lot of people through their faith journey, through their Christian journey. Thank you for the like, love. I see a lot of people are trying to get closer to God, so it's like, why not have a Bible study teaching people? So that's why I asked people on my TikTok yesterday that they want to start doing Bible study lives, Bible study Zoom calls, and all of that, and I got a lot of yeses. So that is something that I'm going to start doing. Hey, bros, how you doing, love? That is something that I'm going to start doing on there and here. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I am going to do some Reddit readings in a little while, but I just wanted to let y'all know what was going on because I haven't been on live in so long. I need to stop doing that because I love my YouTube family. I do, for real. But yeah, so this first one is called "The Job I Got as a Lighthouse Keeper Came with a Strange Set of Rules," and this looked interesting, I ain't gonna lie. So it says, little pig, his voice echoed around me as I heard the bones under his floating exterior rub against the concrete walls and ceiling. Whoa. That already sounds chilly. The entrance was almost too small for the entity to follow me into. I used that to my advantage, crawling faster and faster. I was almost to the door when I felt an ice-cold grip on my ankle. I yelled out and frantically kicked my leg. I got the bony hold off of my ankle, and it slipped down to my boot. Ooh, what was that? What you mean? What slipped down to your boot? I quickly disregarded the shoe and crawled back to my haven, shutting the door just in time for the entity to be locked out. I cried on the floor, upset about what was happening, but more upset that I was wasting water crying on things that just needed to be accepted and submissive to the reality that was happening around me. I got up and wiped my face. At least I got some water. The coppery taste from the red still lingered in my mouth. My thirst was gone, however, and that was more comforting, okay? I wrote the date on the 5th day. and next to it, alive. So how many? Okay, so how many days were you in a, like, hold on, what did he say? Haven. It's given that he was in a cave or something, ain't it? Like, what is that? On the 5th day, and then next to it you wrote alive. So how many days? Like, that's a little confusing. The shadow man taunts me now from behind the door. He sets off freshly baked goods and roasted meats that my stomach cried out for. Okay, so that's, yeah, he's setting you up. I could even hear running water coming from behind the entrance, splashing against the metal door. I couldn't feel the rumble as the monster shook the building. This is crazy, y'all. All of it still standing thanks to the wards. What wards? This, I ain't gonna lie. Thank you for the likes, love. I ain't gonna lie. This story is all over the place because I'm confused. I don't know if it's in a cave, if it's in a building, if it's in a mental institution. I don't know what it's giving. But it said the lighthouse, so that's weird. As long as the monster couldn't get past the wards, he couldn't destroy the lighthouse. That was the goal, wasn't it? To demolish the lighthouse, take the book, and then F off to whatever happens next. If I had just kept that door shut and not lost my mind, the Shadow Man wouldn't even be a part of my life anymore. And this monster for sure wouldn't have been summoned. Summoned how, though? Okay, so it says on the 7th day. So I'm giving, is they like, it's a job, but are they having to stay? Like, live there while they're working or something? Because it's not given that he ever went home, he or she, ever went home or anything. Okay, so it says on the 7th day, I wrote alive next to the date and continued lying on the ground in utter misery. It took me 8 days to realize I could read the book just to have something to do. A perfect activity that would have severed me well days ago. Hi, Rue. I'm gonna just call you Rue, baby, because I don't know how to pronounce your name. A perfect activity that would have served me well days ago. I took the heavy book off the pedestal and went back to my spot. Sitting against the cold column, I opened the book from the beginning and read to the manuscript's title page. It was short and sweet. Here is the magic to control, to summon, to kill. What in the world? Hi, Anaya. How you doing, love? To kill it, put it into the wrong hands, the world would be lost. Yeah, if you do that, yeah, it would be lost. What the heck? Be careful, reader, as you go on and learn. Don't become corrupted by what is written in this link. Just be knowledgeable and content that you have at least experienced such a thing. Do not try any of the spells or rituals. You will change or you will die. Hold on, so I don't even know if I want to continue reading this. Neither is good for you. Enjoy reading on. Y'all, I don't know. I do not know. Because why does it say it's about to do not try any of the spells or rituals? You will change or you will die? Bro, nah, see, nah. I'm not reading none of this stuff. If I see anything pop up, guess what? I ain't reading it. I'm a little nervous. I flipped through the pages and began skimming the paragraphs. The pages I turned felt like leather and stretched beyond their usual size, and the inked words almost bled together in red script, entwining with the black. That's devilish. That's already, There were very few parts I read, and what I could read only chilled me to the bone. Yeah, it's chilling me too. I'm over here shivering. That was a particular recipe for the looks of youth, and I could never forget what the ingredients were. A cup of sugar. What the world? That is weird. A cup of sugar. So I knew the concoction was going to be sweet. A cup and a 4th cup of infant blood. What you mean, infant blood? Okay, they said S word was already getting weird, and I just kept reading on. A teaspoon of sulfur and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. It surprised me how many of these ingredients you could find in an everyday kitchen. 1/4 of cup of brandy, so that's liquor. Whoa, now we getting somewhere. But then things got even more sinister the further I went on. It's already been sinister from the beginning. What you mean? 2 ounces cranberry juice and 3.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Here comes the horrific part. I murmured infant heart. I meant one, yeah, see, nah, one mummified infant heart, pulped in the ground into dust and mixed with mixed with the drink until dissolved. Yeah. How would anyone even get a mummified baby heart? The only thing I could think of was some psycho learned how to mummify hearts that he is obviously what that say? Carving from their from fresh babies. Yeah, this is so chilling, y'all. It's got me stuttering. What the heck? I hopped inside that. Yo, I can't even read. This is crazy. I hopped inside that the heart came from babies dug from the graves, not baby sacrifice. Then to garnish, place a basil leaf on top of the drink and rim the glass with a grapefruit before sliding the fruit onto the rim. Then enjoy it. How can you enjoy something like that? That's nah. This is good for up to 6 months. After that, the effects will wear off. So, what is this giving? I was suddenly met with a silence that made me jump. I squeezed my eyes shut and prayed that this would be the start of their departure. Sadly, I was mistaken when on the 9th day, the pounding came back along with the quakes, which shook the entire room. I had trouble keeping my balance while this was happening and found myself safest if I just lay down on the floor with my head up, watching the pebbles and dirt fall from the ceiling. I wrote down the date and placed alive next to it on the 10th day. Just like every other day, I survived this torment. 10 days? When do you go home, sir? I was thirsty again, and my hunger was too much to bear as the smell of sweet cinnamon and peppered bacon seeped in from the metal door. What I really couldn't take was the manic laughter that came with the quakes. I tried to plug my ears to be rid of the... Yeah, okay, first of all, I got some questions. This is weird. Very weird. Okay, but let me keep going. I'll wait. I tried to plug my ears to be rid of this ear-wrenching pain. But no matter what, the sound came. Even if it was muffled. I spent 12 days inside the room before the silence came. The true silence. I sat for minutes, which turned into hours, and before I knew it, it had been a whole day. What you mean? I slept in peace, waking up on my own accord. I read with a quiet background of undisturbance, and everything felt peaceful. I wrote the date, alive, and on the 15th day, in the bunker. And I also wrote 3 days without noise. So do you live there? That's what I need to understand. Do you live there? You've been there for 15 whole days. 15 whole freaking days. And you have not left not one time. But you're being haunted by something there. And now you recently just got 3 days without noise, without being haunted. So, like, when are you going home? Like, are you supposed to live on the job? I'm not sure. Something is not given. I kept reading more and more as time stretched, and my stomach rippled with anticipation as I waited for my reality to shatter. With the heavy banging, nothing came. By the time it was the 17th day, 5 days without sound, I had basically filled the silence with my own voice, chattering along as if someone were there to reply. I didn't mind losing my mind a bit. At least I was alive. I was withered on the floor by now. My body was weak with starvation, and my mouth was so dry that it felt like grains of tiny sand washed over my tongue every time I tried to swallow. That's sad. 17 days without food, without anything. That's sad. I wrote on the 19th day, alive, with a weak, shaking hand. It was the 7th day of silence, and if the note was correct, I was free to leave this room now. I tried to get up, Oh my gosh. I tried to move my body. I tried to stay alive. I really did. But lying there on the floor in such a secure place gave me a peace. Oh no. I never seemed to understand. I had finally accepted my death. I knew I wasn't strong enough to make my way out of the house, only to still starve until food was cold. I would only get water when it stormed because the house was tainted. I lay there for a few hours with the mindset until I decided I wanted to live. Okay, so they laid there on the ground for a while. Like, okay, I'm gonna accept that I'm about to die. It had been the 19th day, right? So then they laid there until they thought like, no, I want to live. It took everything in me to get up to the surface, back into the house. I crawled outside to booming thunder and flashes of light, coming and going between the clouds. I fell down the stairs to the ground and lay on my back with my mouth open. I took in as much of the pouring rain as I could. Sir, it's not good to drink water that's coming out the sky. I'm just saying. It took 3 days after being safe for a crew. 3 days? Oh my gosh. It took 3 days after being safe for a crew to come to check on me and to replenish my supplies. They found me lying on my stomach in front of the lawn where I had stationed myself until help came. 2 fishermen walked up to me and saw my fluttering eyes. I tried to speak, but I was too delirious and out of my mind. I heard the 2 men speaking, and their words to me were as clear as ever. Might as well put him out of his misery. Besides, he broke the rules. He saw too much. What you mean? The fisherman lit a cigarette and put it down at my lifeless body. Let's just throw him over the edge like the last guy and call it a day. We will put an ad out as soon as we dock and receive a new lighthouse keeper. Oh, it was a setup. I knew it. Hopefully this one will follow the rules. I knew this was a setup. I knew it was a setup, y'all. I felt the 2 men pick up my fragile body, which was more thin than malnutrition, and with 3 swings over the cliff, they let me fall onto the rocky bottom. Oh man. They threw him over the cliff? So if you got thrown over the cliff, how are you writing this? Okay, let me keep going. My eyes were barely open as I watched the men get smaller and smaller. Then my body began to hit rocks, and I was stuck under the waves. So, oh God. I mustered just enough strength to try to get to the surface but a whirlpool came from nowhere, and it began to pull me in. I was spiraling around the cyclone when at the bottom I saw one large eye looking up at me. Yo, I would have had a heart attack. I'm sorry. The monster's grotesque smile beaming up at me as my head stayed out of the water and my body still rocketed down. Slithered up in a small place, I also saw the Shadow Man, both of them waiting to be unlocked and ready to impose my doom. I fell back into the water and my body sank a bit before a hand grabbed me and dusted me back through the sea. See, it was good. Somebody seeing you down there drowning. The monster looked more like a fish beneath the depths of the ocean than when it was out on land, okay? Of course, because he's under the water. Okay. The beast's bulging, offset eyes sat parallel to his webbed wings. That's scary. Which stuck out the sides like fans. I would have been scared, sorry. They switched in the water just as they had when I saw him last. The last thing I remember was getting torn in half. And then I became a meal shared amongst friends. So, okay, I'm confused. So this must just be a scary story and not a real thing that happened in real life, because you literally just said your body got torn to shreds and you became a meal shared amongst the ocean of people in there, like not people, but animals and stuff that's in there. So how did you write this? But this was crazy. So I'm a little confused if it was a dream, if it's a story, or what, because yeah, I don't know. But that one was kind of a little, I don't know what to say about that one. Now let me say if I can find nothing. I edited 100 photos and videos for a living. Do I want to read this? Do I want to read this? Alright, I think I'm gonna read it. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna read it. So this one is called I Edit Haunted Photos and Videos for a Living. Oh Lord. Haunted is crazy. Haunted is crazy. Alright, y'all, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for reading this. I've seen some other people post here, so I will as well. Okay, let's hear your story. I can't tell if the posts here are real or fake. Maybe some parts are real and the stories are just fluffed. All I can say is my story is real. The title of this post should sum it up quite well. I edit haunted photos and videos for a living. I'm posting this because I don't know how much longer I have. Oh Lord. It started a couple months ago. I had just gotten out of the military and needed to get a job. I was still undecided if I wanted to go into the workforce or go to college. I was scrolling on the internet when I saw an ad posting, edit videos and get paid. Seemed like simple enough, right? I clicked on the ad and was rerouted to another site. This site was completely blank except for a link. See, I already, when I clicked that, I'm sorry. It's already a red flag. I'm sorry, y'all. It's already a red flag to me. Would y'all have done it? Because I know I wouldn't have. Okay, so it says, figured why not, and clicked it. It brought me to another site. Another blank page with a link. That's another one? That's 2 links. No. I did this several times out of curiosity when I got a notification from my email. The caring page brought me to a funnel page without any links. So when it popped up, I clicked on it. Yeah, hold on. I was hoping it was another site. I signed up for giving me a job, but it was from an email I didn't recognize. The email was sent from a completely random generated name slapped on a Gmail. The email only contained a link. Okay. Great, more links, I thought. I clicked on it anyway. It once again brought me to another mostly blank page. This one, though, didn't have a link. It was a text in black. You're hired. Ooh, right off bat? That's weird. That's what it said. On the entire empty page, that's all it said. I got another email shortly after reading it. Once again from a randomly generated name. Again, like the blank page, this one had words. You're hired. You will receive instruction when needed. That's it. That's how I got hired. If only all jobs were that easy. See, he got hired like that because they already knew it was up. So they made it real easy. I wouldn't see, that's already a red, that's multiple red flags. I expected to get something, a photo or a video to edit like the original link said. The rest of the day, nothing happened. The next day, I got a package in the mail. A small brown box just sitting on my front porch. Didn't have a return to sender or an address. No labels or anything, just blank cardboard. I thought it odd and didn't want to just open a random package, but I had a suspicion. It was linked to the email. Don't know why I made the connection. Maybe it was the blank webpage, blank email, and now blank box. I took a box cutter to the tape and flipped open the flaps. On the inside was a thumb drive. That was it. Y'all, all of this whole situation is weird. It's a red flag, man. With nothing to go off of, I put it on my laptop and inspected it. The thumb drive was a whole, however you say that. I thought it extremely odd since there was only 32 megabytes being used. I opened the folder and looked at what was inside. One photo and one notepad file labeled instructions. I opened the file first. It was just two simple instructions. One, at your own discretion, edit this to make it seem fake. Two, when task complete, place thumb drive back in box and place it where you found it. Simple enough, I thought, and opened the photo. I honestly thought it was fake. I honestly didn't believe in ghosts. The photo was a screenshot taken from a phone. Someone was using the baby monitor app and was looking through a camera placed in front of a crib. There were a woman standing at the edge of the crib with her hand in the crib caressing a child. She looked real. This isn't when I realized this was serious. I genuinely thought this was a prank. But I just did it anyway. I put the photo in an editor app and I lowered the saturation. Then I upped the granny effect to make it look similar to the photos taken of Bigfoot. The original honestly looked like a real woman standing at the foot of a crib. Now it looked similar to some cheap Photoshop of a fake cryptid. Well, it was a cheap Photoshop, so I guess I did a good job. So I'm trying to figure out. So they took a real photo or video and made it look haunted. I don't know. I think that's what it's given. I don't know. We're gonna keep reading. I saved the photo next to the original, took the thumb drive out of my laptop and placed it back in the box. Then I took the box and placed it where I found it. The next day I got a new one. Same size, same no labels. Once again I picked the box up and brought it inside. The box was slightly heavier, which piqued my interest until I opened it. $1,000 was placed inside the box. Next to it, another thumb drive. Wow, easy money though, shoot. Same storage size and about the same size of files. Once again, a note was accompanying a photo. The note read the same. Edit this as you see fit. I opened the photo and paused. It was the same woman, the same crib, and the same background. Instead of caressing the baby, she was holding it. It looked like she might have been rocking it back and forth when the screenshot was taken. Okay, simple. I edited similar to the first. Figured if the first got me 1,000, this would too. I put the thumb drive back in the box, where I found it. The next day, I got the same old package. It was slightly lighter. I opened it, and the only inhabitants of the box was another bundle of cash. No note, no thumb drive, just in case. I placed the box where I found it and went back inside. Figured that was it. Maybe someone wanted to play a prank or something on someone, so they hired someone to Photoshop some photos for them. I was scrolling on the internet when I saw a headline for some news network. Child killed in home. What? Are you serious? Wow. He did that for somebody that just killed him. Oh no. Ain't no way. Ain't no freaking way. Hold on, y'all. Let me reread this. I was scrolling on the internet when I saw a headline for some news network. Child killed in home. Wow. I thought it was interesting. I wasn't doing anything at the time, so I clicked on it. I saw the two photos I edited. The family had claimed that they had proof of a ghost, which they submitted the photos to the jury. They were deemed mentally insane. They were sentenced for killing their own child. The body had been found. The body had been found at the crib. I clicked them in the crib, and they had no proof it wasn't them. The jury all agreed the photos were fake. Lord. Why would somebody do that? Hold on. Y'all, this is chilling. Hold on. Let me see. I gotta find where I left off. I felt a deep feeling I never felt. It felt like I had to leave. Go nowhere in particular, just leave. I opened the door to my house, and there was a new box on the floor. I stood there, looking at it for a moment before looking up and around, trying to see who left it. The street and the yard were empty. I brought the box inside and set it on the table. I debated with myself if I should open it or not. Inside was another thumb drive. This one was different. It wasn't a photo, it was a video. A short one, roughly 10 seconds. This one was taken from a security camera on the side of the building. The angle was at the top, a railing wrapped around the side to stop anyone from falling. Off to the side, standing by the entrance to the roof, was a middle-aged man smoking a cigarette. I watched as a pale woman climbed up the side of the building and called out to the man. The video had no sound, but I could see her flailing, pretending to be slipping off the edge. When the man got close, she grabbed him and pulled him off the edge, where I could only assume he fell to his death. Wow. The note, oh Lord, what is going on? This is crazy. This is real life stuff. The note that was attached to this was different as well. It didn't ask me to do as I please. It demanded that I do as it says. It wanted me to edit the woman out of the video. It wanted me to edit the video to make it look like a suicide. I wanted to decline. I wanted to just throw this thing away. I just couldn't shake the feeling that if I didn't do this, something bad would happen to me, so I edited. Took the woman out of the video and placed the drive back in the box. Oh Lord. Like with the first set of photos, shortly after placing the box back, I saw another news article. This one was talking about a stressed out man who couldn't take it anymore. They didn't show the video for obvious reasons, but they didn't need to. I knew it was him. That's sad. It was like this for some time. A new video or photo. With each a new set of instructions. Most were like the first. I could do as I please. Some demanded I do something specifically. Those were rare though. Those were rare though. The only thing that I remember the most was one taken from a security camera of an abandoned building. It still somehow had power to the cameras, but the lights to the building were out. There was some young kid, probably in his teens, wandering around with a flashlight. He wasn't there to pilfer or graffiti. Okay, so that's good. He just wandered around and looked at his stuff. This video was probably the longest, 5 minutes in total. About a minute and something started to follow him. Something started to follow him? Like what? It genuinely looked like a stick figure, like directly out of a kid's drawing. White circle for a head, 2 black dots for eyes, a line for a mouth, twisted into a smile, too wide for a normal human, which made sense because, well, it wasn't a human. It was some kind of demon or ghost. It had a line for a body and 4 lines that made 2 arms and 2 legs. Yeah, if I seen something like that, shoot. It followed him around the building. I guess this one could be seen because every time the kid looked around in his direction, it turned its body to be flat. The only way I could describe it is if you took a piece of paper when it's flat and turned it to the side. That's what it did. Lord. Every time the kid looked in its general direction, it did this. Turned flat so it couldn't be seen. It just followed him for the rest of the video. I was worried something would even happen to the kid. Every now and again, the thing would just try to get as close as it could to him without being seen, like it was some joke or game to it. The note for this was simple. Draw a stick figure over the video, tracing it. I could assume it was whatever was following the kid. Thankfully, the kid lived. This was not common. The number of times I've seen these things. Take someone, kill them, kidnap children. I genuinely lost count. I found that it's not on a cycle. The second the box leaves my direction, line of sight, it changes. I only found this out because I placed the box slightly off to where I usually do. When I blink, it shifted in an instant to where it usually is. The tape on the box, the tape on the top was uncut. So I took it inside and a new job was there. I did it. I did this several times to confirm. Alright, hold on. Now, it gets into why I'm typing this. Ghosts are real, demons are real, there are things amongst us. The only reason you people think otherwise is because you're looking at it. You're looking at a photo or video I edited. It would have still been tens of thousands that I edited alone. I'm sure there are others like me. I wouldn't have complained, wouldn't have said anything. The only reason I'm posting this, while I'm asking for help, I got a new video. This one was of me. Oh wow. Sitting in my chair, looking at my laptop. I don't have cameras in my house. Behind me is a window. It looks over my backyard. In it, a man standing still and watching me. Ooh. The note said, edit him out and close your eyes. So I did. Now I'm typing this with bloodshot eyes. Once I'm done, I'll close them. What the? So why would you end it there? I don't know. He ain't said nothing else. So what happened to him? Get a job that's easily had to be warning sign. Yeah, it is a warning sign. This was a day ago. I'm scared. Like, I actually want to just type him and see if he okay. This is very scary. Hold on now. Yeah, this is very scary. I'm a little nervous for him. Alright, y'all, hold on. I need to find me another story, but I think I need to get out of those scary ones for a while. So let's see. Let me find another story, y'all. Should I do another scary story? Maybe I should, since I'm already in this category. Okay, so that's 2 that I've read. Let me see. We got How Am I Pregnant Again? My hiking trip turned into the scariest night of my life. My town is haunted by a witch. If she knocks on your door, you must let her in. Ooh. And y'all, these stories is recent. I'm talking about hours ago, days ago. Shoot, man, that's scary. The look. Someone kept sending me money via Zelle, and I finally figured out what it was. Ooh. I don't know about that. My husband smelled like he's burning. I don't know that. Okay, I read this one. Oh wait, it's another one? I read them, y'all, it's got another one. The job I got as a lighthouse keeper came with a strange set of rules. I read 2 out of 2, so I was supposed to read 1 out of 2 first, so I actually kind of read that out of order. Sorry about that, y'all. Don't stop at farmhouses on Highway 212. Don't eat the food, don't go inside. That's a little scary. Ooh. The child. I don't know about that one. Someone kept sending me. They do part 1s and part 2s. Someone kept sending me money, and I finally figured out what it was. Yeah, no. Release me. My parents should have eaten me when I was a kid, but they chose not to. What the hell you mean? Okay, let me calm down. I didn't mean to destroy the most precious thing in the world. My roommate is a serial killer. This is my testimony. I don't know, y'all. Some of these is... I don't know. Did you know the bones in your ear are only the size of a dime? Peter Pan, Part 1. Limbo. If I didn't lock all my doors, I wouldn't be reading this post. If I didn't lock. Okay, so what you mean if you didn't lock? Yeah. Okay, this one said, yeah, this is a part 3. I might need to read this one. I went searching for a Dutchman's lost gold mine. I wish I never found it. I work at a sleep study clinic. One of our patients have been asleep for 6 days. 6 days? Last night she started describing my apartment in real time. Yo, that's crazy. I found a cracker last winter. Okay, you found a cracker. Cool. My first night working in a morgue still haunts me. Y'all, they got some good stories. I ain't gonna lie. She was standing in the road. Okay, y'all, I'm about to go back up. I'm gonna just start from the beginning. Well, I don't even like how that looked. Lucy in the Sky with Demons. I don't know if I want to read that one. I don't know if I want to read that one. Today my son broke character at the breakfast table, but I don't know. I read this. See, I like that. I like the fact that when I read some of them, they gray out, so I won't choose the same ones over and over. So I really mess with that. Let me see. My hiking trip turned into the scariest night of my life. Yo, I don't even know about that one either. This joint is crazy. Okay, let me see if I can go to another page. And who are you? And why are you texting me? The hell? Who are you and why are you texting me? Period. Alright. Let me see. I just gave birth to my dead boyfriend's baby. Dead boy? Okay, you know what? I can see death. The sword trembles. I just wanted free beer. So let me guess. You did something you weren't supposed to do all because you wanted free beer. Oh my gosh. October 21st, 1971. Echoes. My mortician eats the cadavers. Yeah, some of these stories look like they just, Let's see. Switched around. The Hanging Man. I used to fall asleep to no sleep. Huh? I don't know what I want to read. I guess I could, okay, hold on. Let me scroll back up. I'm just gonna pick one. Okay, we're gonna do. See, this one don't look scary. My hiking trip turned into the scariest night of my life. I guess we could do this one. I guess. Oh, they got comments in this one too. All right. My hiking trip turned into the scariest night of my life. My hiking trip turned into the scariest night of my life, and even now, I still think about it whenever someone mentions hiking alone. This happened about 3 years ago when I decided to go hiking in a forest trail a few hours away from my city. I've always enjoyed hiking, especially quiet trails where there aren't many people around. The day the weather was perfect, and the trail looked easy enough for a solo trip. I started hiking around the afternoon, planning to reach a small viewpoint before sunset and then head back. For the first couple of hours, everything felt normal. The forest was quiet except for birds and the sound of wind moving through the trees. I passed a few hikers earlier on the trail, but after a while I realized I hadn't seen anyone for a long time. I didn't think much of it at the time because the trail wasn't very popular. Around sunset, I reached the viewpoint. I stayed there for a while, taking pictures and enjoying the view. But by the time I started heading back down the trail, it was already getting darker than I expected. The trees blocked most of the remaining sunlight, and the path quickly became difficult to see. Then when I heard the first strange sound, that's when I heard the first strange sound. It was the sound of footsteps somewhere behind me. At first I assumed it was another hiker coming down the trail, so I stepped slightly to the side to let them pass, but the footsteps suddenly stopped. When I turned around, the trail behind me was completely empty. Ooh, so it's like they was following you. When you stopped, they stopped. That's creepy. I stood there for a moment, listening carefully. The forest had gone the forest had gone unusually quiet. Thinking I was just being paranoid, I continued walking. After a few minutes, the footsteps started again. Slow, careful, following the same pace as mine. That's when I turned around quickly, shining my phone's flashlight down the trail. Again, there was no one there, just trees and darkness. At this point, I started feeling uneasy. I began walking faster, trying to reach the parking area before it got completely dark. A few minutes later, I noticed something ahead on the side of the trail. It was a backpack lying on the ground near the trees. I stopped and looked around. There was no one nearby. The bag looked old and dirty, like it had been sitting there for a while. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. I stepped closer and nudged it with my foot. That's when I heard a branch snap somewhere behind me. I turned around immediately and pointed my flashlight towards the trees. For a split second, I saw someone standing between the trees about 20 or 30 feet 30 feet away. They weren't moving. Okay, hold on. So what I'm getting is they was there on the trail. Nobody was there, but the footsteps was somebody that was on the trail, but they passed away and they're stuck on the trail. So maybe they needed somebody to see that they went missing or the reason why they were there. That's the only thing I can interpret. They weren't moving. I couldn't see their face clearly, but I could tell they were watching me. My heart started racing. I called out, asking if they needed help, but they didn't respond. They just stood there completely still. Then they slowly stepped back into the darkness. At that moment, I didn't care about the backpack anymore. I just started walking quickly down the trail. After a few seconds, I heard the footsteps again, but this time they were faster. I started running. The trail felt endless in the dark. Branches scratched against my arms as I moved, and my phone light barely showed the path ahead. Behind me, I could still hear something moving through the trees. Finally, after what felt like forever, I saw the faint lights of the parking lot through the trees. I ran the rest of the way and jumped into my car, locking the doors immediately. When I looked back toward the trail entrance, the forest was completely dark and silent. No one came out. I drove away as fast as I could. The next day, I tried to convince myself that maybe it was just another hiker who didn't want to be seen, but something about the way that person stood there silently watching me from the trees still doesn't sit right with me. And the strangest part is that later I checked the park website. The trail had officially closed 2 hours before I even started my hike. What the? Because somebody had went missing. That's probably why. Okay, so let me see. Very scary. Yeah, it was really scary at the time. This was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, it was honestly terrifying at the time. They just keep saying the same stuff. The quiet figure just standing there watching from the trees is honestly the creepiest part. Yep, that part still gives me chills when I think about it. I think it was somebody that needed to be helped. It was probably the person that, I don't know. It was weird. Are you okay? Yeah, my daughter and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's 3 stories down. That's 3 stories. Thank you for the light. Somebody gave me a 4th light. Thank you. You smell good. Whoever gave me the 4th light, thank you. I appreciate you. Alright, so this one is called My Town is Haunted by a Witch. If she knocks on your door, you must let her in. Ooh. Ooh. You want to read this one with me? My daughter gonna come and join me. I'm reading Reddit stories. Nicole, you can turn the thing off so until after we read this video. Till after we read this story. You need to turn. You want some heater on?
No, I'm good.
You want this cover?
No, I'm good.
Cause you ain't, All right. So what this one called?
Read that.
Mhm.
My town is haunted by a witch. If she knocks on your door, you must let her in.
Ooh, how you think this story gonna be?
About a witch knocking on somebody's door at midnight or night.
Well, I'm saying, like, how do you think it's gonna be? You think it's gonna be scary or?
You can already tell by the thing it's gonna be scary when they say haunted. That's the key word in it.
So you think you're gonna be scared? Nope. I bet you're gonna be scared. Even some of the ones I read was kind of a little creepy, and I'm one of them. I love horror stuff.
Definitely.
So, who you want to start off? Or you want me to start?
I want to start. I live in an old New England town. Legend has it that for 300 years, it has been haunted by
Zuriel
the witch. We learned about Zuriel on school grounds.
Ooh, so it's got something to do with school, huh?
Other kids teach the younger voices loud and eyes glimmering. She will knock on your door in the form of a traveler asking for a glass of water. You will know it's her because despite charming that she is terrible thirsty, she will not touch the water you offer her.
Ooh.
These are 5 rules you must follow, then Zuriel knock on your door. 1. You must let her in. 2. You must be friendly at all times. 3. You must not show that you are afraid of her. 4. You must not let her out of your sight. 5. You must not let her pass the first room of your house.
Ooh, so I wonder what would happen if you failed all 5. You probably gonna die, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's good.
Your turn.
You want to say something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When someone dies in a domestic accident, whispers circulate that they received a visit from Zuriel and didn't follow the rules. Some claim to have met her and survived, but because she changes appearance every time, accounts are impossible to verify. Many grown-ups would deny believing in Zuriel, but when entering a house in our town, one will usually find a glass and bottle of water kept by the front door, just in case a stranger stops by. I am a skeptic, or rather, I used to be until recently.
But what if you sleep and she knocks on your door?
I guess you gotta try to hurry up and get up for cause I don't know, cause this says you gotta let her in. It didn't say you can let her in if you heard. It says you have to. So I wonder if you don't let her in, is she gonna will she automatically kill you or what? But I guess we'll find out if we keep reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Zuriel scared me as a child. When I heard someone knocking at my parents' door, I would run to my room and lock myself inside. Zuriel never came. As I got older, I did my research on her. It turns out that a woman by the name of Zuriel really lived here in our town. According to historical records, she was a spinster of most ill-favored countenance and lived alone at the edge of the woods. Woods? That's already creepy. Long suspected of being troubled by an unclean spirit, she was much disliked by the townsfolk. They complained that she continually intruded upon their property. In 1734, after Zuriel had been seen for weeks, she had not been seen for weeks, a pious old woman went to check on her. She found Zuriel's decomposing body lying in her shed. So what she do? She killed herself. Her throat cut almost at the bone. Although some young men had been heard declaring they would rid the town of the foul witch, they were never prosecuted. Okay, so they killed her because she was rich. It kind of reminds me of that Fear Street when they killed Sarah because she was a witch. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They killed her because she was a witch.
They killed her because she kept trying to get them killed. So they killed her spirit. Because remember, she had those deadly people.
Ani, no. The only reason why she started doing that was because they killed her. They didn't kill her because of that. They killed her because she was gay.
Oh,
Ani, you didn't see it? She was a witch, and she was dating somebody's daughter, and they didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that she was already. They didn't like the fact that she was already a witch, and it made it worse by her being gay. So that's why they killed her. Once they killed her, she cursed the land, and that's why she cursed that side. It was like Sunnyside and where was the other one? Sunnyside and the other side. But the other side was the one that was haunted.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what that was. You go ahead.
This haunting nonsense was the result of a sad page of history. I concluded. After I married and moved into a new house with my husband, he insists on keeping a glass and bottle of water by the front door. I did not want to, but I figured it wasn't a matter of worth fighting over. Last Friday around 3 p.m., the devil hour, I had I had just put my son down for a nap when I heard the knocking at the door. I absently opened the door to a woman of the 40 whom I had never seen before. She was in a hiking clothes. Not surprised, the area is natural trails. Hi, can I help you? Hi, I am sorry to bother you. A stylish bob encircled her pleasant face. Even with sweat perling down on her forehead, she looked polished. I thought she must have come from a big city. May I ask you for a glass of water? My bottle's empty and I'm very thirsty. She smiled an apology. A hiker asking for a glass of water, that's it. You must let her in. Of course, please come in. Oh, that's kind of you. Are you sure I'm not bothering you? No bother at all. She watchfully walked through the door I held open for her. A split second, though, crossed my mind, slammed the door in her face. I didn't, of course. The blink of an eye, the hiker was inside my house. She hovered by the entrance politely. I turned towards the kitchen, then remembered the glass of water sitting right next to me. You must not let her out of your sight. Well, why not? As I poured the water, she glided from the entrance to the couch and sat down. I did not like that. She must have noticed because a flicker of guilt tightened her features. You must be friendly at all times. I responded with a bright smile, handing her the glass. Then that's when I noticed that she had no backpack, no pouch, not even a water bottle. I took a deep breath to push down the panic that had started swelling up. I sat in front of her. You must be hiking, I chirped. I just did the mountain loop. She replied
enthusiastically.
It was so pretty. Without drinking any of it, she set the glass on her lap. It's one of my favorites, I respond. Her fingers gripped the glass. She didn't drink it. And it's such a nice day, I continued. It was lovely, almost too hot. Her face blank with sweat. A drop rolled down her forehead to her chin. It fell into her lap. Still did not drink.
So she asked for some water and never drank it. She just held it in her lap the whole time.
My eyes snapped up to her. She was staring at me, staring at her. You must be friendly at all times. I laughed a horrendous laugh. Yes, I love it when it's hot. She laughed along. Inside me, the adult woman disappeared, and I became that little woman who wanted to lock herself in the room again. Have you been in this area before? I asked, forcing my voice to sound even. It's my first time visiting, she responded cheerfully. Have you been living here long? I was born here, I said, then fearing I was lacking in inability, I exclaimed. Wouldn't want to live here anyway else. Of course, such a lovely place, and everyone seems so nice. Her glaze shift to a frown picture of me, my husband, and my son. What a cutie, she whispered, gnawing her eyes. Revulsion twisted my stomach, smashed the frame in her face. I thought I didn't. Of course, I sat perfectly still and forced out a timid thank you. She turned to me with a proud smile. You know, I have a son the same age. He's with his dad now. Unfortunately, we're divorced, but we maintain a good friendship. That's so important of a child. Oh yeah, so important, I stammered, taken aback. She stood up, leaving the glass on the coffee table. Well, well, so sorry for bothering you. I'll be on my way before it gets dark. A wave of relief rushed throughout me. Of course, no bother at all. She trotted to the front door. I had stifled a laugh, awoken from a bad dream. I was back in the land of the living. Hope you enjoy the rest of your trip. Her hand pushed down on the door handle, then let it back up. One last thing, she said. May I use your restroom?
Ooh, that's a trick.
Cold dread enveloped me before her words even reached my brain. You must let her pass your first room in your house. I'm sorry, but the restroom is out of order. Is that so? She asked, as she breezed right back to the seat in front of me. Why? My pulse went,
Oh, my bad.
wow. It's closed. We had been a waking accident.
We had an awkward accident
earlier. I cackled. She winked. Whoops. I can have a look if you like. I'm pretty suave with small repairs. Oh no, you don't have to. There's a public restroom right across the street in the park. I pointed at the window. My hand trembled. It was already dark outside. That was impossible. Sunset was supposed to be hours away, and she hadn't been in my house for more than a few minutes. I would love to repay your hospitality, she insists, eyes wide and eager. My husband is about to come home from work. Who will do it? You know, men. I leaned towards her, displaying the most convincing smile I could muster. They like to feel useful.
She said mustard.
Shush. Oh, she played along. I get it. Since my husband left, I had to learn to do it all by myself. I admire your independence. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. She seemed genuinely flattered. I was not doing too bad, I thought. A piercing cry arose from upstairs. Mommy. My son had woken up. He's an anxious baby.
She better not leave. She better not leave from right there without that lady getting out.
At 2 years old. He has only just started to sleep on his own. Whenever he wakes up and doesn't find us, he's going into a panic. I almost shot from my seat, but managed to reel myself back in. Don't you want to go get him? She asked me gently. You must not let her out of your sight.
She keep remembering them rules.
That's okay. He needs to get used to it. He had a way of sounding like something absolutely terrible was happening, which it was. Mommy! His voice broke, but he still kept on screaming. What if he's actually hurt? She sat perfectly still, grinning at me. Are you sure he's okay? Her question sounds somewhat like a threat. You must not let her out of your sight. I nodded vigorously. We're training him to sleep on his own.
What? You crazy. You looked at me like, okay, I've been reading for like 2 hours now. You think you slick. It's your go. That's why you looked at me. Listening to the pleas of my hurting baby was not unbearable. I reminded myself of all the people, all the children, who had died in tragic circumstances. He broke his neck tripping down the stairs. She choked on her food. The little one drank from a bottle of bleach. They were visited by Zuru. The rumors always said, and they didn't follow the rules. I've never seen a mother like you, she said. Y'all going somewhere or something?
She's about to go to not family dinner. Sam's Club and Walmart and stuff, but I'm just gonna go so I'm leaving up the video so they can call me.
Okay. Bye, baby. Thank you for helping me. I never seen a mother like you, she said. I ignored the provocation. How about your little one? I had to raise my voice over my son's cries. Does he sleep on his own? She lit up at the mention of her child. He sleeps like an angel. My daughter, on the other hand, is like yours. She wanted to be held all the time. You have a daughter too? Yes, I do. She snapped as if I was doubting her. My son abruptly went silent. That alarmed me even more. Why did he stop? I fiercely wanted to go check on him. See? I said instead. He calmed down. You're a very interesting woman, she responded, and shuffled forward. Her knees almost touched mine. I'm really enjoying getting to know you. I did not budge, swallowing my disgust. Me too. It's nice to see a new face around her. Maybe, I jumped into the abyss. Maybe we could be friends. Her eyebrows shot up. Her eyes widened, her lips parted. I would love that, she breathed. A rush of emotion flushed her cheeks. A web of red veins flared beneath her skin, then began to swell, morphing into, oh wow, elongated red warts. You must not show, oh Lord, she just transforming. You must not show that you are afraid of her. What do you think of the hike? I sputtered, desperate to fill the silence. See, that's scary. She got to change it like that in her face and stuff. Yeah, no, I'm good. It was amazingly lovely, she thrilled, while one of her eyes turned gray. What else do you suggest I do in the area? I held on to that question like a life raft. If you love nature, I would recommend the National Wildlife Refuge and paddleboard on the river. Her hair vanished one by one, leaving only a few disheveled clumps on a bald head. You must not show that you're afraid of her. A walk downtown is great for shopping. Aunt Rita's Kitchen serves the best clam chowder in town. Her teeth blackened. Strands of yellow saliva stretched between the upper and lower arcade. I waged war against every one of my muscles to not look away. For cultural lovers, the local museum has great artifacts. One side of her face went moldy. A worm wriggled, Lord, out of her ear and slid inside her eye socket. I smiled hard. And let's not forget the Civil War battle. A slit appeared on her throat from side to side. Dark blood came pouring out and inundating her clothes, my couch, my carpet. Her head fell backwards. The wound was spread apart like 2 halves of a steak, exposing her sliced-off windpipe. Only a thin layer of skin kept the head from rolling away. Yet the absurd angle, her one her one eye was still set on me. My smile did not falter. You can always catch a performance at the Art Center. The lights flickered. My personal favorite are the dance shows. All the lights went out with a pop, except the overhead light. It flickered desperately. The thought of being alone in the dark with her was so terrifying, my heart nearly stopped. You must not show that you are afraid of her. I thought about my son sleeping peacefully in his crib, the sun rising on the ocean, a fluffy kitten drinking from a bowl of milk. For drinks, there's a bar by the river. The lights went out. I opened my mouth to scream. In the blink of an eye, the lights came back on. I sucked in the scream before it could ring out. You must not show that you're afraid of her. She looked like a preppy 40-year-old lady hiker again. No sign of a neck wound. Her clothes were clean. So were my couch and carpet. Outside, the day was bright again. I allowed myself to breathe of relief. Maybe it was it. I passed the test. She would be gone now. Thank you for that, she said softly. Since there's so much to do around here, maybe I should stay a few more days. My throat tightened. What a great idea. She looked around the room pensively. Do you have a guest room? I would love to stay if you'll have me. Despair hooked it. Why does she keep doing that? Like, she just keep trying. Get that lady about your house and stop playing. All right, so despair hooked into fingers into my insides. We don't have a guest room, unfortunately. I have loved to have you stay with us. That's a shame. But if I slept on the couch, I would not want you to be uncomfortable. I don't need much. This looks perfectly comfortable. My son is a rambunctious kid. So, didn't I tell you I'm a mom too? Yes. You don't believe me? Yes, of course. I was losing ground and I felt my energy leaving me. It almost sounds like you're making up excuses not to have me. Didn't you say you wanted to be friends? Yes, of course. Mommy. I had not heard him come in. My son was standing in the doorframe. He clutched his teddy bear, chubby cheeks stretched with dried up tears. She just looked as startled as I was. He must have climbed out of his toddler bed. I said, forcing cheerfulness. Oh, Lord, she better not leave. She better not take her eyes off him, not one bit. I held out my arms to him. Honey, come here. Instead, he directed his unsteady feet towards her. No. You must not show that you are afraid of her. Y'all, this is crazy. Hello, little man, she exclaimed, baring her teeth at him. Nope. I was now trembling from head to toe. She stretched out her hand and wiggled her long, nailed fingers. My son wobbled closer to her. I wanted to scream, yank him away from her, run, but because I didn't know what the right thing to do was, I sat there paralyzed. You must not show that you are afraid of her. Would you like me to stay with you? She said in a cringe-worthy baby voice. No. Say no, I yelled inside my head. My son gave me a toothless smile, that smile of pure delight only children are capable of. She widened her grin, pushed her demonic hand further toward him. The room around me started shaking. Every nerve of my body twisted. My son put his teddy bear in her outstretched hand like a friendship offering. Time stopped. Her mouth trembled, smile morphing into a sorrowing grimace. She gripped the teddy bear and brought it to her heart. Finally, she let out a long, painful breath. I'm sure your child wants his mommy to himself, she finally murmured. I'll be on my way. She slowly rose and set the teddy bear on the couch. It was a great to have. Okay. Thank you for your kindness. She ever so lightly stroked my hand with her fingers, and then just as swiftly as she came, she was gone. It's been 7 days since she visited. I've been watching my husband and son like a hawk, expecting them to trip, fall, or get burned, or some other terrible thing. No one got hurt. Life is beginning to feel normal. But around 3 p.m. every afternoon, I feel a pang of pain on my hand, right where she touched me. Ooh, this is really good read. Okay, very entertaining. Maybe All that Witch wanted was companionship and to be accepted. So at the end, when the son gives her his teddy bear and doesn't push her away at first, all the family is spared. The curse has to go anyway. Yeah, because she did do what she was supposed to do. She was killed without a reason. So therefore, the itching pain on your hand appearance has to be preserved so people remember. Yeah, that do make sense. This was intense, very well written, so good, and so glad they survived. This was fabulous. Wow, edge of the seat all the way. Yeah, that was a good story. I would not have survived. I'm happy you did, because if she ever shows up at my house, I could think back to how you handled it. I'm even more happy your son is okay. Poor little dude. Great story. I couldn't stop reading. I loved it. I'm so engrossed in this. It would be nice if you could tell us more about her and other experiences other people have had. I'm never answering my doorbell again. You had me on the edge of my seat. Amazing read. Wow. This was good. Bro, that's a great read. This was brilliant. Thank you. Amazing. Phenomenal. Loved it. All these comments is good. So good. Thank you for sharing. Suspenseful. I loved it. You brought this. What you bring that in here for?
It's my baby. Well, it's not with my baby. It's my twin.
They
See, I
still
met
in
you
there.
with it.
Why y'all ain't leave it?
Oh, again, I'm missing the shower anyway, so. I got out. I took my good shower.
You put your deodorant and stuff on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
I washed my neck real good. My throat was hurt.
Now I gotta find another story now.
You should do another scary one. You should do another scary one.
Hold on, y'all. All right, y'all. So let's get back to the next story. We got the look. Someone kept sending me money via Zelle, and I finally figured out what it was for. Now, when I read down, when I was trying to find the story I just read, this one had like 3-4 parts. My husband smells like he's burning. I read this one already. Okay, I didn't read that one. I didn't read none of these.
That's part 2.
We got a part 3 coming for this one too.
1, 2, 3, release them. I wish that I could.
My parents should have eaten me when I was a kid, but chose not to.
Ew. This is my testimony. I don't want to watch nothing about no bones and stuff. Let's go. Limbo. Go back to Limbo.
What?
The Limbo.
You gonna read this?
Yeah.
How did you choose Limbo out of everything?
Because I like Limbo.
What is that?
Limbo is a car and that little pole thing you gotta go under.
That's
Without
weird.
touching the ground.
That's weird.
It's 2 Limbos.
You want me to read it? Limbo.
Go for me.
Yeah, I've been off mute.
Limbo. Thunder, lightning struck. A boy cried. I told you the
Just
old
use this
man-
to scroll up so you won't lose your place. I'm sorry, I just wanted to say that.
I told you the old man said, don't go up there at night. He waved his long, wrinkly fingers and had a strong look on his face. One of the boys hadn't seen before. They had, of course, been over Mr.
A.
A house before, but never had Mr. A before a serious
Ben. You missed somebody.
been some serious with them. Rather, he he always has stories to tell. Laughed to give a soft pat on their head before they would depart, saying something like, "You boys are something else."
Why you had to say it like that?
So I gotta act like him. Both Tommy and Joseph's mother had taken up Mr. A on his office premises. Could have said on his office to watch over and accompany the neighborhood children in lieu of hiring a babysitter on some occasion. Mr. A was engaging even at the right age of 88.
Dang, he 88. 88-year-old man.
I was born in 36. Many of his stories would start as he would lean back in his hand, carved rocking chairs, and look up at his ceiling. It brought him some levels of joy to be around the children and seeing that the children were always eager for more time with him. Mr. A had been doing this for years. As his own children moved out, he and his wife still seemed to yearn for the young present of kids. Of course, Mr. A had died many decades ago, and since then, Mr. A began hosting neighborhood children even more often, perhaps due to his own loneliness.
Hold on. So did they say, Mrs. A died, not Mr. A? I thought you said Mr. A. Because I'm like, hold on. If Mr. A died, how was he doing all of that? But it said Mrs. A. So Mr. A is lonely because Mrs. A died.
Lonely.
Okay. There you go.
I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody. Oh, Mom. I did that. The stories he shared were wonderful, engaging, lasting, full of light cuckles, in the animated hands of a man who seemed at the time much younger than he was.
What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing?
But there was one story Mr. A didn't share, and while many of his stories were in bold and established for the sake of storytelling, this one was true. Tommy and Joseph didn't find it on their own. They had to do some research. Newly minted, fresh of books and history on the town they lived in the school library. What is this one about? Tommy remarked, using his pointer finger to guide along the words on the page.
Honey,
What?
why did you say it like that? You could have said "in" one time.
They got in though.
I know, when you said that, I was like, why would she say that? Then I looked and I see two N's. I'm like, bro, she could have just said one and left it at that.
This is him, Joseph said, looking over his shoulders. Is this about the Bay Area? The boys studied the page in front of them, detailing a series. That's series.
Mm-hmm.
Of plane crashes that had happened during the U.S. military of how you say that? Occupation of many bases screwed down of the coast of Northern California during World War II. The boys, of course, lived on empty tulips known as MT to the locals, along with Mr. A, as this book would have it. So such plane crash occurred on MT Tim. The boys knew from the many stories. Mr. A told them that he lived in the same house his whole life. I wonder if Mr. A knows anything about this crash, Joseph said. He must, right, but why has he never told us about it? Tommy said as they both looked back at the page in front of them.
Why after you read for a while, you look at me like, okay, you go ahead now. Why do you be doing that? It be the way you be looking at me. And then you go to smiling. What is wrong with you?
Because when I get done reading, I look at you so you know to start reading. You go ahead. Of course, the boys had access to another source of information, the internet, which housed many stories, some true, some untrue, that couldn't be found in physical books. They spent their afternoon looking up information on this supposed plane crash that had happened on MT Tam in 1944. When Mr. A would have been 8, I was 8 years old. Mr. A said later that evening.
Okay, hold on. You're supposed to stop sometime to give your input on the story. You ain't gotta read the whole story first. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let me read something. What?
I want to read.
For real?
For real. The boy sat intentionally looking up at him as he stood over them, looking off somewhere in the distance. In one hand, he held a candle on a small silver dash.
That's dish, girl.
Dish and darn overalls and new boy cap. Mr. A had already detailed that his story would be a different kind of story, the one he did not like telling, but one his thought might be good to tell if for nothing else to warn the boys.
Warn? That's bad.
It was 8 p.m. or so. Me and two friends were having a sleepover right here in this house, and my mother, he had said, point past them into the kitchen, was standing right here making herself some tea. Then Mr. A made an explosion sound with his mouth that sounded eerily genuine to actual explosion, and with his hands gestly according to show the explosion. Kaboom! It was like a bomb had gone off. It had felt as if the mountain itself momentarily quivered like a leaf in the wind under our feet. Shake. My mother immediately ran into my room to check on us, and then we all ran to our window, and we couldn't see a thing, but he said, gesturing towards the living room windows. The fog, Mr. A stated, we couldn't see a thing, but we could smell the smoke. We were sure of it. My mom ran to the phone and called 911.
There you go again. Stop. Alright. Let me see. Ma'am, we know the explosion sound, but we can assure you this because addressed already. The operator told her Mr. A detailed how many people had called in the explosion, not knowing what it was, and that he considered a plane crash, but he dismissed it when they checked in with the U.S. military bases in the area, who had incorrectly stated that none of their planes were missing. In fact, a large floating boat had collided within a mountain and disintegrated into fire and rumbled upon. So if a boat ran into a mountain, that's what happens. I guess because it could be an explosion. Mr. A and his two friends had immediately decided they would go investigate this mysterious explosion early the next morning. They could hardly sleep, but the crack of dawn, immediately following his mother's departure to work in San Francisco, the boys made their way up to a fire road, following the smell of the smoke. It turned them about 40 minutes, but soon enough, the thick gray fog was beginning to turn black, and they could see orange in the distance. Oh, that's not right. Fire, Mr. H said, as just a bit of a moisture began to well up upon his bottom eyelid. We ran up to the site and began to see debris. Then through the smoke, we saw a sight that we couldn't believe. The remnants of Martin P.B.M. Marner, also known as the flying boat. It was a patrol bomber that could safely land in the water. It was a 56,000-pound, 80-foot long, 120-foot wide behemoth of an airplane, and here it was in pieces. Okay. So they was up there a good while. That's good. And here it was in pieces. Mr. A said, his eyes starting to glaze over, looking at nothing in particular. It seemed Mr. A was mentally back that moment. He wasn't in the room anymore with Tommy and Joseph. He started, then trod off. And then trod off and then started again. We started walking. The crackle of fire turned to a roar as the boys stepped over burnt shrubs and the remnants of fallen trees. Their eyes are darting, their heads on a swivel as the group of three tiptoes their way into ruin. Between the fog, the smoke, and the fire, it is nearly impossible to make out anything more than 10 yards away. But as the boys go deeper into the wreckage, the shadow of gigantic shapes began to form in the wreckage. The sound of metal warping and burning, the snap of wood as it breaks down. They hear something. A gust of wind, strong on the western seaboard, quiet all as else around, presiding over the crash site, just enough to hear, oh! Yo, they going through it, ain't it? The primal screams of a man, Mr. A, can hardly get these last three words out as he chokes up, and finally a tear, then another, and then another falls from his eyes. Help me! Ah! A part of the three boys recognized these sounds not as a man pleading for life, but as an animal breathing its last breath. It resonated with them on a primal level. I couldn't see through my eyes. Mr. A recalls as he fights through the tears coming about him now. None of us could. He shouts, pointing his finger violently towards the ground, but still staring off into the distance. The three boys peer in the direction of the screams, and sure enough, there is movement amongst the twisted metal, fire and black smoke. There is a man still alive. The boys approach and begin to make out the scene. They can only see the top third or some of the man. Ooh, that's weird. One arm is braced under him against a large piece of metal that his legs are caught under, and one arm is falling in the air. What did they say? Flailing in the air. As the boys approach, they can make out something in front of him. Red, gooey, unnatural. It's as if a pile of a giant intertwining worms. Oh, that's his guts. That's got to be his guts. Intertwining worms leading back to the man's stomach. His left arm flailing above him was charmed and was the entire left side of his body, his face and body. Beside him, a fire raged. Oh, Lord. They ain't got no comments either. You want to read the last bit or we'll make you comment? That's it, right? That's the last little bit right? These two paragraphs.
There was nothing the boys could do. They seemed paralyzed in place. This man's fate had been sealed, but he seemed to be living on some sort of inherited will to live. He continued his pleas. He screamed, "Mr. A, look to the left, to the right of him, seeing if there was a way they could get close without getting killed themselves." And it was impossible. This man was deep in the wreckage, at times hard to even make out with the flames darting across behind and in front of him. The
Note from the writer.
Note from the writer. Thanks for listening. Something just came up and I lost my train of thought. I'll revisit this later. I don't know when.
But another time, when it's right.
Oh, to be honest, but another time when it's right. Thanks for listening. You know what TBH means?
Yeah, but I didn't know that's what you were looking at. I thought you just, I don't know what.
To be honest.
To be honest.
I just found out what that means a few days ago.
Girl.
I knew what everything else meant but that.
How did you not know that's what that meant? TBH.
To be honest.
That's like IDK. Everybody know what that means.
I don't know.
Okay, so how do you not know what TBH means? You know what WTF means.
You said what?
WTF.
What the world? Oh.
F.
I thought you said WTH. I mean.
Yeah, you know.
You need to smoke papers.
All right, there we go. Okay, I need you to do me a favor. Hold on, y'all.